Is there a mic up here? Do I have to hold the mic or what?
Mike?
Speak up.
Can you guys get him?
Yeah.
You're good with the mics? Okay, they're good.
Shoot, man.
Lance Leonard here. How you
Yeah,
doing?
Lance.
Good to see you, man. Hey, one of the things you played for the late great Dennis Cavalier, right here at Pampa. What did that mean to your career playing for Coach Cav? And if he was alive and kicking today, what would he say to you about seeing your name on the stadium?
You know what? He'd be proud, but I wouldn't be here without Dennis Cavalier. He was a tough coach that, I mean, we won in the Valhalla. That's the gym out over there, and he toughened me up. But his thing to me would be grateful for all my teammates because no one was bigger than the team with Coach Cav. And coming over here and having him really engrave that into my head, I thought that's special, you know, and it's true because, you know, it's not tennis, it's not even basketball, you know, where there's 5 guys. Man, you got 22 guys, you know, and it definitely, you depend on so many other guys than just you. And I feel like with Coach Cav, which I'm representing Coach Cav up there, you know, vice versa, because that guy is special to me, and I wouldn't be standing here. Thank you. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Coach Cav and the great staff that he had. Yeah, that staff was stacked with guys of knowledge, and that's when I really have just like a sponge. I absorbed every bit of it, and I really, if I didn't make, what's crazy is if I didn't make that transfer, I learned a lot in White Deer, but I would have never met Max Plunk. I would have never met Coach Cavalier. And Max Plunk is the guy, which I said in my induction speech, about who taught me the read that got me labeled instinctive. And got me labeled smart too. And as they know, and you know, I mean, I can't even tell you the capital of Iowa right now, but I wasn't that smart, but I could tell you run from pass because of that read. How crazy is that? It made me a smart player. Everybody always saw me as this guy's smart player. He's making plays, smart player, but it's because of that choice. And, you know, what do they say? The choices you make determine the road you take. And what's crazy, if that choice wasn't made, we wouldn't move to Pampa to make that transfer. I wouldn't be standing here today. So I'm grateful.
When you came to Pampa from White Deer, was there a certain moment you realized, you know, I can do this at this 4A level of football. You know, I belong here, and I made the transition. I can transform myself into someone who can play at the college level.
I wanted to, because at White Deer I learned a lot. I learned how to win. There was a senior class when I was a freshman when we won state that taught me a lot, but my brother taught me a lot. My dad taught me a lot. And but coming over here, going to a bigger school, I still remember to this day, and he's my friend. We talk back and forth, Rob Porter. He told me, you're no prima donna here. He got me going. And really, it just drove me. And he knew what he's doing, because they, you know, it's what I tell my kids right now. If they're hard on you, they see talent in you. You know, I just looked at a different perspective. I wanted somebody hard on me. You know, and that's what you should want. It's just because you can get better every day. And I tell you what, it was special. But your question again?
Yeah, was there a moment on the field that you kind of felt like, I know I could do this, and I know I could play this alignment and move on to college? What kind of told you that?
Man, you know what? It might sound a little arrogant, but ever since I played football, that's the only thing I was really good at. And I was good at it. And seriously, and I had so much confidence when I was on the field. But because I was so obsessed with it, I tried to better myself every day. But that read made me so super confident, and I always felt like I was, you know, getting doubted. And that drove me as well. And that's fine. I look back at it, I couldn't have had a better path. It couldn't have worked out better for me. And you get a little lucky, you know? I mean, for these coaches that I run across, I wouldn't have been the same player. I wouldn't even probably even got to college. And it's crazy how you can get a little lucky along the way and health-wise as well. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Zach, what did you take from Pampa? Is it the harvester heart? Is it the work ethic that got you into the Hall of Fame at the end?
Oh, man, I think what really got here was just the circle of friends that I had. I had some great friends here, and we all had the same interests. We compete with each other. We all make each other better. We were all in with football. I mean, seriously, like, even in the summertime, we'd hit the Valhalla up every day, wouldn't miss a workout. And then even before camp, I just remember we were throwing water balloons. I mean, this might be too much, but we were throwing water balloons at cars to get in shape. So we were that guys to get in shape for the two-a-days camp. And yeah, so hopefully nobody got hurt. But that's what our whole obsession with football. And we all made each other better. I mean, I had some great leaders from Andy Cavalier, Phil Sexton, Sammy Lowry. I mean, I could keep naming, missing a lot of guys, but I will not forget every one of my teammates, and that's what's awesome about that team. And we just all made each other better, but it all started at the top with Coach Cavalier.
Zach, what lessons do you take from Tampa High School and of course White Deer before that you kind of use both in your NFL career and then also, you know, life after football as you've been successful after football as well?
So repeat just what I learned from White Deer.
Yeah, just like lessons that you've gotten from either White Deer or Pampa or both as you've gone through life that's helped you after football.
After football? Hey, I mean, just from this town, this town's tough. I took the town for granted. It's the open friendliness that everybody has when you're here. And everybody cares, genuinely. Like, they care for you. And I feel like that means something. That gave me opportunity to work myself to get better. But I learned everything from here. It was that window of time and just that small window of sacrifice that we made in that Valhalla with that team that impacted me for life. And I feel like I'm grateful for that.
You've been asked many times who hit you the hardest, and it's not in a Miami Dolphin uniform, it's not in a Texas Tech Raider uniform, it's not in a White Deer uniform. It's a Pampa Harvester against Hereford. Can you relay us that story? The hardest you hit somebody.
Oh, the hardest I hit somebody. I thought you said somebody hit me.
No.
Maybe that's why I forgot. Sorry. Yeah, that was probably my best hit, was my junior year. And get hurt against Hereford, and the backup came in, and you never forget it. He tied the game up on a Hail Mary. So that wasn't good to knock the starting quarterback out there. But no, that's what I love to do. I mean, I was the linebacker in the middle. I loved contact. I loved collision. Ever since I started playing football, I wasn't avoiding it. And I didn't have a long reach, so I had to use my head. And so, yeah, that's good, because yeah, that was a long while ago, but yeah, it was a good hit. I say clean hit, but today I would have been fine.
His name is TJ Head. He said he landed on the 5th lane of the track.
It gets better every year. It was the grass.
Lane 8.
It'll be the stands before.
Yeah, there we go.
Zach, the last year for you has been pretty great. Pro Football Hall of Fame, earlier this year the Texas Panhandle Sports Hall of Fame, now Zach's Thomas Stadium. What's this last year meant for you?
Well, it's been wild, but it's been fantastic because I've got together with old teammates from even at my induction from high school to college to pro, and all we did was exaggerate stories. You were there, Lance. Exaggerate old stories and enjoy our time together, because that locker room is missed. You know, there's nothing like the brotherhood in that locker room, and that's irreplaceable. And so when you can get back together again, oh man, that's what's special about football. I mean, you can't replace that locker room, and I miss it today. And even being in this pep rally and stuff, and hearing the band and all that stuff, it just fires you up. And yeah, I'm reminiscing, but it was good, man. And it was special to me. It was great for my family to be there, because my kids, they never saw me play. And it was special. for them to be there in my induction. And, but just also, like I said, coaches, old coaches, teammates all there in one place at one time, and you can't get better than that. So I'm very grateful. And I keep going back to, it's a team game. And I always, everywhere I went, I had great players around me. And so you can all say, man, I don't care. The one thing I'm most proudest about is being a great teammate, because, you know, it doesn't matter if your name's up on a sign, or if you're at Hall of Fame, if you're all about yourself, you know. And that's the one thing I was very proud about, because nobody's gonna respect you if you're that way. And I don't think you can find one person, you can go all the way back, 28 years of football, that would say I was a bad teammate. And shoot, that's all that matters to me. I didn't play for trying to put my name on a sign. I didn't try to play for the Hall of Fame. I tried to be the best that I could be at my feet every day, just try to be a little better than yesterday, that's all.
So Zach,
When I was in Midland, I had talked to Coach Michael Levy of Andrews, and I talked about you a little bit, and said, yeah, you played them in a playoff game and you did not come off the field. I guess it's overlooked, you played fullback on offense too,
Yeah.
back in the day. Was that something, how much did you enjoy that? Did you kind of like you're gonna have to cart me off the field to get off? Was that kind of your attitude about that? You wanted to be on there all the time? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I never wanted to leave the field. To be honest with you, man, I was starstruck when I saw Emmitt Smith out at the Hall of Fame, and I just remember, you know, trying to emulate him as a kid in the, you know, early 90s. Emmitt would run between those tackles, and I wanted to be that guy. And I went to Texas Tech and to play fullback, and I saw Van Morris there, so I pretty much was like, all right. He was only a sophomore, so I said, all right, I guess I'll switch to the defensive side of the ball because I want to play. But back to what I was saying is, like, I wanted to be like Emmitt. And what's crazy is now I'm on the same team with him, and that's very humbling. But yeah, I wasn't good enough, and that's why I went to the defensive side of the ball. It's kind of like receivers. If they don't have great hands, they better be a good DB if they have a chance, you know. So I was that guy. I love to score, and I got a few scores on defense, so that's satisfying.
hey Zach, I want to broaden you out a little bit from Pampa, because I originally grew up in Clovis and played football there. We would come over and play you guys, and you know, you look at the players that have come from the Panhandle area, you know, like Hank Baskett from Clovis and Brian Erlacher from Lovington, and you know, your incredible feat that you have here in Pampa. And you know, whenever I come over, you know, and I moved here a couple of years ago, and the first thing I would always hear, it wasn't, you know, that Pampa had a great agricultural center, or, you know, oil and gas was big. Everything out of everybody's mouth was, this is the home of Zach Thomas. And, you know, when we were in Clovis, we would try to emulate what you were doing over in Clovis and the things that you were doing. And even Hank Baskett would tell me about you and some of the things that he looked up to you about in your playing. And, you know, I just want you to know that your influence, as great as it is here in Pampa, is extremely beneficial all the way through this Panhandle, all the way over to eastern New Mexico, and of course around this whole area. And we're just grateful for your humility and your ability and just your humbleness, and the way that you are such a great player, and the way that you've influenced so many children that you have no idea how much you've influenced.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, you said some pretty good names there. As I was a senior at Texas Tech, this might be off the point, but I took Brian Erlacher out. He was a safety coming out of New Mexico.
Yeah.
And we didn't even offer him a scholarship. How about that? So he reminds me to this day that I didn't do my job. But we competed over the years, and you know, I'd do some of his charity events, and we played basketball together, and he gave me a jersey that says the real 54 on the back, and this says the fake. So he's a good guy. But back to what you're saying, man, you know what? Like, again, I'm truly humbled by that. But that's what I played for, was just respect of my teammates. And that's all that matters, because we all play for the winning and losing and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're all about yourself, if you just go out there to fight for the next play. I have more respect for guys that I see, former teammates that weren't even the most talented, but man, they had your back. And that's important to me, you know, and it was always important. I always wanted that respect. Because I didn't look the part, I pretty much like, you know, until you get on the field,
Yeah.
that's where I could get my respect. But I had, you know, and it didn't always go smooth where I just was, you know, playing great every game either. But it drove me in my prep after that. You know, I was always trying to learn, get better every day, try to, you know, perfect my craft. And, but back to what I was saying, I feel like the only thing I really played for is respect to my teammates, and that's all you really remember at the end. You can, if I look back at it, I can't remember how many tackles I made in the first game. What does that got to do with anything, the accolades and all that stuff? It's about the respect of your locker room, and that's what's most important, because that's all you really remember in the end. And I'm proud of that, so thank you for that.
What's
Zach,
going to be
you
your message to
mentioned-
what's going to be your message to the kids tonight before they go out and take on playing big?
Probably that. That might be something I should say. Being first home game, you don't need too much of a pep talk, but how to be a great teammate. You know, I mean, that's what you play for, each other in that locker room. And that's what you'll remember in the end. It's not about, like I said, the whole rest of it. You're not gonna, obviously, when you're 51, maybe because I've had a lot of hits to the head, I'm not remember anything, but I don't remember a lot of even the score of our first game. I'm not even really sure who we played. But I remember every one of my teammates. Just saw Kurt West out there, Garrett Scribner. Man, you never forget them, you know, and that's what's most important. I mean, who cares about the accolades if you're all about yourself, and that's what I always say. So maybe something like that.
What do you remember about running out of the locker room there, though, you know, onto the Harvester field? Out of that locker room before games?
Hey, I remember, man, that's a good feeling, because I can hear the cleats walking across the sidewalk. That's stuff you remember. It's, like I said, I don't really remember the score, but I remember walking across, hearing those cleats hit, you ready to go, you know? You're ready to just go hit anybody. And we all had each other's back. I remember, I don't know what team it was that came, got off the bus, and we're all just outside the locker room staring them down. That's the best, that's the moments that you remember. Like, we're ready to go, like we're ready to go fight. But that's special, that's special. That's what I'm saying about moments. That's what you remember in the end, and that's why I'm very, very proud of that.
Zach, you mentioned your kids didn't get to see you play, kind of building off of what he said. A lot of kids did. I grew up in the Texas Panhandle during your playing career, and I can tell you just about every athlete over the age of 10, 11, 12 years old knows the name Zach Thomas. And it meant a lot to us emotionally to see the heights that you reached. What does it mean to you emotionally to know that kids throughout the Texas Panhandle are looking at you and thinking that?
I mean, it means a lot, you know, give them hope, just like I had hope. Like I was talking about with Emmitt Smith, you know, I idolized a lot of guys that were great players, Mike Singletary. Even when I got older, Junior Seau, I got to play with him. How cool is that? I hope that gives them hope, you know, but it's not even about being a football player. Go out and find your talent, man. You know, you only, you know, like I said, with choices, decisions that you make are so important. Find what you're good at. Really, you don't have to be so good at it. It needs to be tough to get the best out of you. Because if it's easy, then everybody's going to be doing it. So you want to find something tough to do so you can excel. And I love that with the Panhandle, because I'm proud, man, when I talk about it. Like when I ask somebody, where are you from? Pampa. They're like, Tampa? No, Pampa. Pampa. Get it right. You know what I'm saying? And, but I'm proud to be from the Panhandle, you know? And that's more than me. That's what I'm in. I'm a small town country boy for life, and I'm humbled to be here. And man, just coming back, being in the area, it's a good feeling.
We've got time for 2 more questions.
you don't mind, the Pampa Harvester uniform was in the Hall of Fame, you know, in Canton.
Yep.
When you went in that weekend. Number 32 there, sitting there in the mecca of all buildings of football. When you saw the Pampa Harvester uniform in there, what'd you think?
Oh, man, just like I said earlier, when you're playing here, you're just playing for that next game. I wasn't playing to get into college scholarship or even get to the pros. I was playing to help this team win, and for that next game, for it to say, man, you come a long way, you know. I would never expect it to be in the Hall of Fame, and the same goes with when I'm driving my 75 Monte Carlo down Randy Matson Avenue. I'm never thinking that my name would be on a sign in the stadium, but I never thought that, but I feel like that's, you know, I always try to keep grounded. When I felt too good about myself, I'd always try to find something else to get me motivated to work every day to prove everybody wrong who was against me. And it could have been in my head, but hey, it worked, you know. So, but I'm proud to represent Pampa, that green and gold. I mean, how about that? I think Floyd White wore 32 better than me, though. I heard great things about him. He was behind me, and Andy Cavalier talked him up. I don't know where they came across it. Did Coach White go to Eastern New Mexico? Is that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'm happy that we have the real 32 here to coach this team. You know, I'll be the fake 32, that's all right.
What advice do you have for the future generation of football players who maybe feel doubted even right now, who want to achieve the things that you have?
Man, don't chase what I have. Like I was saying, just be in the moment. Like, get the best out of yourself every day, and it's not gonna be easy. My road wasn't easy. It wasn't easy from the beginning. I, you know, pretty much had to, you know, work every day with my mom, countless hours to not be embarrassed at school. And it was tough all the way through. But like I said, football is where I found my love, and I was good at it. And, you know, for them, don't chase, because if it's too far out in the distance, man, you're gonna give up.